Headed into the season for San Francisco's defense, arguably the biggest question they had was how they were planning to replace Dre Greenlaw, who signed with the Denver Broncos this offseason. Well, we just got our answer as Dee Winters put on an absolute show against the Seattle Seahawks, receiving an overall coverage grade of 90.3, which ranked third among all linebackers in the NFL. And because of his 4.49 40, he has the ability to play sideline to sideline in a similar way Greenlaw used to, and also delivered some absolutely brutal blows throughout this game. And maybe more importantly for San Francisco, since Winters is only 24 years old and really learning the position still at the NFL level, I think the best is yet to come. So in this video, we're going to go over the 17th highest graded linebacker according to PFF and what has everyone buzzing about him. Initially, to start out, when you turn on Winters' film, the first thing that's really going to jump out to you is how dominant of a pass coverage linebacker he is. Here, for instance, going against the Seattle Seahawks, they're running a screen to Kenneth Walker. And on this play, it looks like Winters was actually in the backfield getting the play call at the same time. That's how smart of a player he is. He takes his read step, and before these offensive linemen are actually disengaging, he's reading Walker coming out. Then he transfers his eyes over to Sam Darnold, and as soon as Sam Darnold's releasing, he's coming up with that 4.49 speed, which helps him beat this offensive lineman's block. He then breaks down in the open field and helps bring down this back for basically no gain on the play. In a similar way on this play, the Seahawks once again are trying to challenge the flats to Dee Winters' side with Zach Charbonnet running a little bubble screen. And like the previous play, it's clear Winters has been doing his film study, because as soon as his fullback starts to break out to the flats hard on this play, Winters starts breaking there with him, probably realizing that a bubble screen is coming, and as soon as Sam Darnold tries to check it down, Winters is coming up aggressively. But unlike last play, he's not trying to make the play on the back, but rather does the unselfish thing and takes on the fullback's block to set the edge and funnel Zach Charbonnet back towards the teeth of his defense, and Fred Warner helps him out here. Perhaps my favorite part about Winters in coverage though is his ability to play sideline to sideline and come up in the flats and really stop the quarterback from getting any yards on checkdowns. To really illustrate this point, on this play, San Francisco is running a cover 3 concept with Winters responsible for the flats. And here, once again, he's quick to identify Kenneth Walker breaking that direction, and because of his athleticism, he's actually able to loop over the top of this wide receiver and then comes up hard, breaks down in the open space, and he's getting nothing on this play. To me, this skill is invaluable for a linebacker because often quarterbacks will just be check down merchants, get 4 or 5 yards every single time, and then it's easier for the play caller the next play. But with Winters, every single check down yard is earned, and often he'll try to jump the route and make plays on the ball. And even worse for quarterbacks, this year he's doing a lot better job of actually baiting the quarterbacks into trying to make some risky throws. Here towards the end of the game, with Seattle trying to knock on the door for instance, he's reading Sam Darnold's eyes and feels Kenneth Walker coming into his zone, but rather than just jumping on Kenneth Walker, he times up his jump to Sam Darnold's motion and nearly gets the interception on this play. And because he is such an inexperienced linebacker, I think it's only a matter of time before he fully catches up to the NFL speed, picks some of these off, and goes the other direction. And while mainly so far I've been focusing on Winters as a zone coverage linebacker, he's also really solid in man coverage, which allows Saleh to send blitzes like on this play. He's able to send Fred Warner, and then he has Dee Winters manned up on this tight end. And even with the double move, Winters is able to stay glued to his hip pocket and shuts down this tight end. Speaking of versatility, because he is such an athletic linebacker, he's also the perfect candidate to send on blitzes. And Saleh understands how to get the most out of this athleticism as well. On this play, for instance, he has Fred Warner showing the blitz, and then pre-snap, he has Winters looping over the top where Fred Warner is going to be slanting. This creates a clear running lane for Winters to come behind, and then he blows up this back and nearly gets a sack on Sam Darnold, and I think forces an incompletion here. Winters also does a nice job when he is blitzing of throwing his hands up when not able to get to the quarterback, which often does disrupt their throwing lanes. As much as I like Winters in his pass coverage, I'm also extremely excited about his development as a run defender. Because like his pass coverage, he looks quicker than ever at identifying plays. Here for instance, the Seattle Seahawks are trying to double team up to the second level, but because Winters is the first player arguably to actually identify this play, he takes his read step, sees where the back is going, and then shoots without hesitation, beating this guard, making his way up to the second level, and ultimately making the tackle on this back for essentially no gain. Winters also did a much better job of playing under control compared to his first couple of years in the league. On this play, for instance, with the Seahawks running an inside run opposite of Winters' side, rather than just trying to shoot into the backfield, he's actually reading this play develop and then does the right thing, scrapes over the top, and is able to make this tackle on this back for a pretty minimal gain on this play. In a similar way here, rather than trying to shoot in towards all of this congestion, Winters gets outside contained, and with Kenneth Walker trying to bounce outside, Winters is there to meet him, and he loses a yard on this play. Another part of his run defense I think a lot of people have overlooked is his ability to play sideline to sideline in a similar way we saw Greenlaw used to. On this play, once again, as soon as he takes his read step, he's flowing with this play, and then identifying this run, he comes up, attacks his tight end, and actually is able to make this tackle with this tight end draped all over him. And this level of play strength isn't yet something we've seen in Dee Winters' career, so this is extremely promising if you're a 49ers fan. The final aspect of Winters' run defense I wanted to talk about is how aggressive he's coming up and attacking blocks, which he didn't do last year, and honestly, San Francisco's linebackers as a whole didn't do last year. Here going against the Seattle Seahawks once again, for instance, he's able to come up, meet this fullback, blows him up, and if Marquis Siegel wasn't there, he probably would have made the tackle on this play. As impressive as Dee Winters was in his first outing though, there are still some areas of concern for his game headed forward, with probably the most notable in my opinion just being his injury history. While he has always been pretty solid when he's been able to go out for San Francisco, it's really been hard for him to stay healthy in his young NFL career. As far as on the field areas of concern, I believe Winters needs to prove throughout this season he can do a better job of disengaging from offensive linemen's blocks as well as playing under control. Still though, overall when I'm looking at Dee Winters as a player, I think the best is yet to come. And it's going to be exciting to watch his development, and honestly, I think San Francisco's future at the linebacker position is brighter than ever. Not only is Winters one of the best pass coverage linebackers in the game, but he's also one of the youngest coming in at 24, and because he is such an inexperienced player, with more playing time, he's only going to get better and better, and by the end of the season, it wouldn't be a surprise to me to see him end up being a Pro Bowl level linebacker, and potentially he might have a better season than Dre Greenlaw, given the fact Greenlaw is still injured. But ultimately, these are just my thoughts on Dee Winters going out and putting on an absolute show against the Seattle Seahawks, and I think their future looks brighter than ever at the position. But now, I want to hear your thoughts down below. Do you think Dee Winters can actually replace a player like Dre Greenlaw, or do you think San Francisco is going to struggle this year without Greenlaw? It would also mean a ton to me if you did enjoy this video, if you could go ahead and like and subscribe. It truly helps out the channel a ton. And as always, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.